Welcome back to the Hashira Chronicles, your source for Demon Slayer deep dives, lore breakdowns, and everything you need to know ahead of the highly anticipated Infinity Castle movie. Today, we are spotlighting a character whose transformation has shocked fans and redefined what it means to be strong in the Demon Slayer universe. Zenitsu Agatsuma. Once known for his cowardice, his trembling knees, and his tendency to pass out in fear, Zenitsu has undergone a profound transformation. In the final arc, Zenitsu is no longer the boy who begs for someone else to fight. He's not even the boy who only shines when unconscious. He is locked in, and the reason behind that change is as heartbreaking as it is powerful. In this video, we'll take a deep look at Zenitsu's origins, the tragedy that reshaped him, and the ultimate confrontation that forced him to stand tall, not for glory, but for honor. Zenitsu's tragic origin. Zenitsu Agatsuma didn't grow up dreaming of being a warrior. In fact, he didn't grow up with much of anything. Abandoned by his parents, he had no support, no guidance, and no stability. His early life was shaped by fear, abandonment, and betrayal. Before he ever picked up a sword, Zenitsu was just a boy trying to survive. He wasn't brave, and he certainly was not strong. In fact, when he fell in love with a girl, she left him for another man and saddled him with a mountain of debt in the process. It's a painful, humiliating memory, but one that reflects just how far Zenitsu has come. That debt should have ruined his life, but instead it brought him into the orbit of someone who would change everything. Jigoro Kuwajima, the former Thunder Hashira. Known to his disciples as Gramps, Jigoro saw potential in Zenitsu when no one else did. He paid off Zenitsu's debts and took him in as his student. Training under the Thunder Hashira was no easy task, especially for someone as emotionally fragile as Zenitsu. Every step of this training was drenched in fear. He had cried, screamed, run away, and hide. But despite all of that, he stayed. And that's important, because fear didn't stop Zenitsu. It haunted him, yes, but it never truly defeated him. During his time under Jigoro, Zenitsu trained alongside another student, Kaigaku. Unlike Zenitsu, Kaigaku was arrogant, ambitious, and cold. He saw Zenitsu as weak and unworthy, and the feeling was mutual, but Zenitsu still admired him. He wanted to earn his respect. He hoped one day they had be equals. Then came the lightning. One day, while trying to escape his training, Zenitsu climbed a tree and was struck by lightning. That bolt didn't just dye his hair blonde. It marked a turning point. Symbolically, it was the heavens themselves forcing Zenitsu into destiny. Power entered him not by force of will, but by fate. And yet, what he would do with that power, that would be entirely his choice. The turning point, Jigoro's death. Zenitsu's journey truly changes during the Hashira training arc when he receives devastating news. A letter arrives. His mentor, Jigoro Kuwajima, has committed seppuku, the act of ritual suicide, to take responsibility for a shameful event. Kaigaku, his former student, has become a demon. In the world of the Demon Slayer Corps, becoming a demon is the ultimate betrayal. For a Hashira, the highest level of warrior, to have a student who falls that far from grace is unforgivable. Jigoro took that disgrace upon himself and ended his life in shame. For Zenitsu, this wasn't just sad. It was world-shattering. The man who believed in him when no one else did, the man who trained him, forgave him, and never gave up on him was gone. And the reason? Kaigaku, the very man Zenitsu once admired, had destroyed the legacy of their teacher. But something changed in Zenitsu that day. Up until this point in the series, Zenitsu had been defined by fear. He could only fight when unconscious. He was often comic relief. But when he read that letter, the fear did not win. He did not scream. He did not cry. He did not run. He became silent, focused, composed. Zenitsu was no longer afraid. He was angry, not blindly, but with clarity. For the first time, he had a mission he believed in, a purpose that outweighed his fear. And in that moment, he became a different kind of warrior. He became locked in. The showdown, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. All roads lead to the Infinity Castle, a twisting, supernatural domain that serves as the final battlefield for the Demon Slayer Corps. As Zenitsu moves through its maze-like halls, he hears a voice, one he knows too well, Kaigaku, the former thunder-breathing user turned upper rank 6 of the 12 Kizuki. A demon, a traitor, a fallen brother. When the two finally face each other, the tension is electric. Kaigaku sneers at Zenitsu, still belittling him, still drunk on superiority. He mocks Zenitsu for only knowing the first form of thunder breathing, a technique Kaigaku considers inferior. But Zenitsu is not the same boy he once bullied. He calmly tells Kaigaku that he no longer sees him as a senior, not because of skill, but because Kaigaku abandoned everything their master stood for. Zenitsu accuses him of being the reason for Jigoro's death. Kaigaku laughs. He has no remorse. He even insults Jigoro in death, calling him a fool for dying out of honor. That's all Zenitsu needs to hear. Kaigaku strikes first, unleashing his twisted version of thunder breathing, infused with blood demon art. His attacks are monstrous, overwhelming, and laced with dark energy. Fourth form, distant thunder. Zenitsu dodges with barely a whisper. Second form, right spirit. He's hit, but stands strong. Third form, thunder swarm. Fifth form, heat lightning. Sixth form, rumble and flash. Kaigaku throws everything he has at him, but Zenitsu doesn't back down. He doesn't blink, he stands firm. What Kaigaku doesn't realize is that Zenitsu has trained harder than anyone imagined. While Kaigaku relied on shortcuts and demonic power, Zenitsu had only one form, but he mastered it to its peak. And then, he created something new. Thunder breathing, seventh form, Anokazuchi no Kami. In the heat of battle, Zenitsu reflects on his teacher, on Kaigaku, on himself. All the pain, humiliation, and fear he endured, it becomes fuel. Lightning gathers around him. Thunder echoes through the Infinity Castle. And then, Zenitsu unveils the secret he has held close. A technique no one else has ever seen. Thunder breathing, seventh form, Hanokazuchi no Kami, Flaming Thunder God. This isn't just a new move. It's a culmination of his grief, his love for his master, and his own growth. It's the moment he stops living in someone else's shadow and becomes his own kind of warrior. In one flash of divine thunder, Zenitsu slices through Kaigaku, ending his former brother's descent into darkness. Kaigaku, once so sure of his superiority, falls, his expression frozen in disbelief. Zenitsu stands over him, sword drawn, breathing heavy, not with pride, but with finality. Why Zenitsu is truly locked in. Zenitsu didn't fight Kaigaku for revenge. He didn't do it to prove himself to the world. He did it to honor his master, to redeem the legacy of the man who believed in him when no one else would. That's what being locked in truly means. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. It's about letting pain shape purpose. It's about knowing who you are and what you fight for. Zenitsu Agatsuma started as a punchline. He ends as a warrior. His journey is one of the most underrated arcs in Demon Slayer, a true example of character growth, emotional resilience, and strength forged through love and loss. Zenitsu's transformation is more than just cool attacks and flashy lightning. It's about the triumph of the human spirit. It's about turning weakness into strength. And in the grand climax of Demon Slayer, it's about saying goodbye to the old Zenitsu and embracing the warrior he was always meant to be. That's why Zenitsu is locked in. If this breakdown got you hyped for the Infinity Castle movie, make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment with your favorite Zenitsu moment, and drop a comment if you believe he deserves to stand among the Hashira. Until next time, stay strong, Slayers.